Okay, here we go. LET Season 14 Finals, baby! So I have to admit, I think what happened was I updated my OBS and it kicked my microphone off. So I unfortunately have to do this as a post-com. I will do my best to make it lively and not, probably not as lively. That's just probably impossible. As my actual live battles. But either way, here we go. LET Season 14 Finals. So I'll talk through as best I can, and I'll talk through my decisions. I'll try to react and all the things. Anyway, so we brought a TERA Fairy Choice Scarf Salamence because I thought it kind of goes ham here. Obviously, he has the Iron Treads and the Glow King, which are going to be issues, but they don't want to like repeatedly take those hits. In particular, Glow King is not as like physically bulky, and I guess he could be like max bulk on it for physical side, but at that point, you're like super prepping for the Salamence, and that's good for us, right? So Iron Treads does not want to repeatedly switch in either to the like a Terra Blast, a Terra Fairy, and I also am a dragon, right? I could also click a dragon move. I could also click things like Earthquake, or I actually have Crunch on this set as well. So anyway, I was shocked that he didn't bring his Urshifu. He has Urshifu Single Strike. It's like one of his best Pokemon, highest point Pokemon. I very strongly prepped for it. But he didn't bring it, and that's okay. Sometimes the overprep, overprepping for a certain Pokemon ends up being bad for you, but then other times, in this case, like, right, it frees up some Pokemon like Iron Hands, who was supposed to switch in on Urshifu multiple times, which is very hard to do, by the way. But that completely freed it up, which is pretty excellent. Also, I'll note he was Terra Fairy on the Enamorus and Terra Ice on the Beartic, which is really good to know because at that point, he's not changing his types dramatically, so it doesn't really change up a lot of my matchups and things I had planned for, so that actually makes that aspect a little bit easier. He would obviously lose the Flying type on Enamorus if he did Terra it, but so I don't get to hit it with like Ice Beam or Ice Punch, things like that, but I have other ways of hitting the Fairy side, right? So it's not like Terra Steel or something like that. Anyway, so we actually led with the, because he didn't have the Urshifu, we led with the Spectrier. Actually, I think we were always leading with Spectrier if he didn't have Masquerain. I had built a set for Terapagos in case he had the Masquerain, and I could prevent Sticky Webs from ever being a problem at all. So that was the game plan, and if we didn't have the Masquerain, if we didn't see that, we were going to lead with the horse. So this turns out to be a great lead for us. I know they always say don't set up on turn 1, but we're just going to go ahead and Nasty Plot. The reason I held there and thought about it was I was worried about a trick. I was worried about a Thunder Wave. But the thing was, lead Rotom screams Scarf, and I thought, you're probably just going to Volt Switch out. If you do something else, I guess, it's not great, but the horse doesn't have to be our win con here, because we have the Scarf Salamence in the back. So, at this point, I was debating, I'm +2, Shadow Ball did not kill a bulky Rotom, and I didn't want to risk that, so I thought, okay, we see here that Dark Pulse does a certain amount. I'll risk the switch, because if he is Scarf, he doesn't want to just, like, sit in here, right? If he is Choice Scarf, he doesn't want to just sit on this and let me do whatever I want. So I'm going to click Substitute, hoping he'd switch. He obviously did not switch, but we actually caught him here a little bit, if I remember. Yes. So he clicked Electro Web to try to slow me down in case that I... so he could revenge this thing, basically, with other Pokemon, because this is faster than everything that's not Scarf, so... What we end up seeing here is that Electro Web does not break the sub, so this is a fantastic start. We have a +2 horse behind the sub. There's nothing that wants to take a Shadow Ball. I went for the Draining Kiss because I was thinking... Rotom doesn't die to a +2 Shadow Ball, and we learn here that that's definitely true, because he's got the max HP. So I felt like that was the best play at the time. We learn that he's Rocky Helmet, so that kind of ends up stinking. And then the Volt Switch coming out, I believe is going to break the sub. It did break the sub, yep. So that actually that turn went really... I will say, by the way, this is an amazing game. This game ended up being fantastic, so definitely buckle your belts. Buckle your belts up, ladies and gentlemen. So he's going to Volt Switch into the... Yes, this thing, the Iron Treads. So at this point, if he has no bulk, I have actually calced exactly so that a +2 Shadow Ball would OHKO no bulk on this thing. Now, the other thing to consider here that I was going through was I have the Scarf Salamence, and that's my win con. And like I was saying at the beginning, if I can weaken this thing, and if I can weaken the Slowking, the Galarian Slowking, then I actually am looking incredibly good with that Scarf Terra Fairy Moxie, by the way, the ability's Moxie on the Salamence. So... ultimately, I believe I end up clicking Shadow Ball here, where I know that all odds are that he's going to have he's going to have at least a little bit of defensive investment, so he's probably going to live this on a sliver, but ultimately I might knock it out in one hit here, and that would be amazing. That would just be crazy. So turns out he's got a ton of bulk, which again is actually understandable and it makes a ton of sense. But so we lose the horse. That's the first kill. You hate to see the horse go down, and so he played around what was a really, really terrible situation to start. So excellent plays by my opponent. Anyway, so now I have a lot of options here. I got to think about this. I could go into Salamence and get the TERA Fairy off and Earthquake. I could go into the Empoleon, but I felt like I needed the Empoleon healthy for the Enamorous. I have a Shuckaberry on it, so I can take an Earthquake and live. My thought here was to get the TERA Fairy off, so if he like sets up rocks or something, I don't have to like super prioritize getting rid of him. And I can also just massively threaten him, right? I can't remember if I'm running calcs. I think I was running calcs that the Terra Blast does kill from this range. We're about to find out, of course, because if not, and that's what I'm doing in the live video here, is I'm running the calc, absolutely. I'm pretty sure I click TERA Fairy, and I might Earthquake. I think I Earthquake here. But either way, the kind of figuring out the calcs, I don't have them in front of me now, so I apologize for that, but, you know, we're looking at his team, what wants to take an Earthquake, what wants to take a TERA Fairy. Obviously, he has 3 immunities to Earthquake. He has the Latios, the Rotom, and the Enamorous. So I go ahead and click the TERA Fairy, and I go for the Earthquake. Because honestly, it's not safe. He knows I'm TERA Fairy. Latios is not safe. I don't think he wants to risk getting rid of the Rotom early. And it's also kind of risky to go just hard into the Enamorous. So I kind of felt pretty confident clicking Earthquake here. He doesn't know I'm Scarf yet either. That's the other thing. So not knowing that I'm Scarf, I would take the trade here and reveal the Choice Scarf just so I can get rid of the Iron Treads. Because again, it's one of the few things stopping this TERA Fairy Salamence here. And we see that he stays in, so let's go! I'm going to try to do my best to react as if I don't know what happened already. Anyway, so Salamence comes in and gets his first kill of a championship game. We get the Moxie boost, but he knows that I'm Scarf now. He has 3 Pokemon, and all terrifying Pokemon that he can go into. So that's actually kind of a risky play there, because now he can go freshly, and that's probably what he was anticipating, to be honest. He has his choice. He can go Rotom freely, Latios, or Enamorous freely. At the time, I think I was fearing the Enamorous doing some kind of setup. Also, a physical Latios like Dragon Dancing might be kind of scary because they know that they're immune to the Earthquake. And they know that I'm Scarf. I have to be Scarf to outspeed. Although maybe that's not true, actually. You know, I didn't consider that. It's possible that he didn't run max speed or like enough speed for Salamence, right? I would be surprised, but... so anyway, he goes into his pivot Rotom here, which makes total sense because now he just gets a free Volt Switch. Nothing on my team is immune. Matter of fact, most of my Pokemon don't want to take it. I believe I go into 3 Fingers here because the Iron Hands is going to resist. Now, I have to fear the burn, but at this point, like, nothing wants to get burned. I don't want to take a Volt Switch on Empoleon. I don't want to get burned on Salamence for sure. I can't get burned on the Muck because Muck is still there for, like, the Galarian, Slowking, and things like that, and the Latios. So, ultimately, Iron Hands becomes my most expendable member. It is resist the Volt Switch, and hopefully he just Volt Switch and doesn't Will-O-Wisp. Because the Will-O-Wisp would pretty much ruin the Iron Hands. And he does go for the Will-O-Wisp, and he does land. So, unfortunately, Iron Hands is now basically a Volt-switching machine. And I do remember saying that when I was playing the game, too. That's literally what I said. Iron Hands is now a Volt-switching machine. Because the burn is going to half my attack, and my physical attacks are going to do nothing now. So, we're just going to spam the Volt Switch basically every time this comes in. And the other thing about this is, while it's still extremely helpful for a Pokemon, it was here for I built it explicitly to beat the Urshifu, which didn't come. So as I was saying in the intro, it frees up Iron Hands to help with the rest of his team, right? So the over-prepping there actually kind of helps weirdly in a way, because it can help with the rest of his team. So he's going to Volt Switch out. He also doesn't have a ground type now that the Iron Treads is gone, which is fantastic for us. So now we can just come in, click Volt Switch. Come in, click Volt Switch. We should be slower than everything other than the Galarian Slowking. But even then, the Slowking, like, I can still hit it with an attack, right? If that's what I'm in with versus this. So he's going to go into the Latios, and we're going to get the Volt Switch out. I can't remember what happens here. So let's see. Let's try to analyze this from perspective. We don't know anything about the set. Muck is the hard check, though. I think I just go hard into Muck here. Because it's the hard check to this thing. His Latios cannot Terastallize, so no matter what set, even if he's like a physical set, he can't just like kill me with an Earthquake or anything. So I think I even live Choice Band Earthquake. I think I calc that I live a Choice Band Earthquake. So I just come click Knockoff. Something loses this item, or Latios takes a shitload of damage. Like, he does not want to eat this Knockoff on anything right now. So this sets us up really. This is a really nice turn for us. And so I think we sit here for a minute, probably because he's got to figure out what wants to take the knockoff. This is a really tough play for my opponent here. Something has to take a ton of damage and lose an item, or Latios. I mean, something has to, right? He knows he can't kill me. So, yeah, this is a tough play for him. I don't even think he had a resist left, does he? I'm trying to think if he has a resist. No, he does click the Earthquake Raw. He doesn't Dragon Dance, so that was good to see. It's going to do half, which is a little annoying. But the good news is knockoff almost gets the kill. And we see Weakness Policy, which is terrifying. So this thing could go crazy versus our team now, except we have the Shadow Sneak. You might have seen that on the last turn already, but... So we have Shadow Sneak, and it's an obvious play here. I click it whether he predicts it or not, right? He's at so low health. Even if he predicts it and something else takes a Shadow Sneak, we have a chance to get the Poison Touch on him, right? On whatever he switches in. And also, if we are able to get rocks up at any point with Empoleon, then this thing would die to the rocks. So Muck is going to get a kill on Latios in the championship. Let's go! So at this point, we are sitting up, I believe, 2-1. Or, well, I guess that's not how the final score is calculated, but you know what I'm saying. We got 2 kills, he's got 1. The Iron Hands is burned, which is sort of like, it's completely neutralized, except, like I said, because we have Volt Switch this week, it's a slow Volt Switching machine, so that's not a dead Pokemon. It's fully utility now. It's not really threatening anymore, but that's still worth mentioning. In comes the Enamorus. So this thing is absolutely terrifying, and I had to figure out what to do here. I don't remember what I do here. I don't think I go hard on Empoleon. I might have gone hard on Empoleon. This was a tough play. I don't remember what I... Do I go hard Salamence? I don't think I'm that ballsy, do I? This was a really tough play. I honestly don't even remember what I did. I think I probably went Empoleon, I guess. And then flip turn out, maybe? Or surfed. Did I go Empoleon and surf? I think maybe. Either way, something like eating... Like, he could be Choice Specs. See, we know he's Terra Fairy. A Choice Specs Terra Fairy would do so much damage to pretty much everything. I mean, even Empoleon. Empoleon's built to take it, but... Like, that's a lot, man. Also, Earth Power, by the way, I don't have a resist, and 3 of my Pokemon are weak to it. So, Earth Power is another thing to be scared of, and that's why I couldn't go into Muck here, or go into Empoleon. That's why I didn't go Empoleon, because I was afraid of Earth Power. If he does click either of those moves, it's probably going to kill. I might live 1. He does click the Earth Power, and notably, he kills me here, which guarantees me that he is Choice Specs. We know now, for a fact, that he is Choice Specs and Amorous. So knowing that is massive for the end of this game. That he can't switch up his moves. He has to lock into either Earth Power or Moonblast. So because he's locked in Earth Power, it's not Stab. I don't have a lot of good choices here, but I want to keep Empoleon around for you know, switching in later, and I don't want to break the full health of the Terrapagos. It would kill Muck. So I go Salamence because I look, and we do live a Choice Specs Earth Power because he can't Terrasilize to ground. Right, we know that his Terra type is Fairy, so we do live a hit here. Now here's where I'm looking at his team, and I'm kind of like, what's his switch into this thing? It's got to be the Slow King, right? And at this point, I'm saying in my post-com, you know what, man? You're gonna win big boy games. You got to make big boy plays, and I feel like the Slow King is such a safe switch here. I kind of have to click Terra Blast to do anything to this thing. I can't sit and take 2 Earth Powers. So if I sit in on this and I click something like the wrong move, this is a very, very pivotal turn here. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, big boy games, you got to make big boy plays. I say it over and over and over. And you know, big boy games, you got to make big boy plays, and sometimes they don't pan out. But big boy games, you got to make big boy plays. I see here that he hasn't made his decision yet either. He goes for the switch. Let's go, big boy games. You got to make big boy plays. Big boy games, you got to make big boy plays. Loran, what is that? That is the Slow King. We made the play. Let's go! Big boy plays in big boy games, baby! That was a massive play. That was a massive turn. We made the right call. I mean, that was a ballsy-ass play, dude. I really wish, honestly, my least favorite part about this being a post-com.
Dad, it looks like you're doing a post.
Yeah, we're recording over my previous Poke Battle because I accidentally didn't record my voice the first time. So anyway, I said that's my least favorite part about this being a post-com is you didn't get to hear me make that prediction live. That was fire, dude! I was so lit. Oh my god, I was bouncing off the walls. I was so ecstatic about making that prediction. Anyway, at this point, I actually missed what I did switch back out because I thought now that he knows that I clicked Earthquake, he knows that I'm Scarfed, this thing has Regenerator. There's no way he doesn't go into a Pokemon like Rotom or Latios, or excuse me, go back to Enamorus. I was actually predicting him to go back to Enamorus by going into the Empoleon here, you can see that. Because that was the perfect chance to get Empoleon in, right? Because even if he stayed in and clicked like Sludge Bomb, Empoleon would have been immune. Even if you click Psychic, like you're not clicking like an Earthquake or something there. So I went into this expecting the Enamorus or even like a Sludge Bomb or something. No, I wasn't expecting Sludge. I was expecting Enamorus. So he went into the Rotom actually, which after the fact he revealed that he was actually really close to going into the Rotom instead of the Slowking, which would have changed the game. Obviously, that was a massive, massive turn. So that was a tough turn for my opponent, a tough turn for me, honestly, making that call. So anyway, made the call. Let's go. In big boy games, you got to make big boy plays, and we just made one of those. So he's got the Rotom, and now I got to figure out what is the least important team member, right? So I still desperately need Salamence to win. I need Empoleon. Hold on 1 second. I desperately need the Empoleon to beat the Enamorus. And honestly, the Terapagos I need around for his Beartic, because Beartic is starting to look scary. So we determined that the Muck is the most expendable member, and we knew that a Will-O-Wisp was probably coming. Or it could have been a Volt Switch, but honestly, the Will-O-Wisp was very obvious there. So Muck is going to go ahead and get burned, making Muck start to be useless. But again, similar to the Iron Hand situation, we have the knockoff, and we have Toxic, actually. So this Pokemon can still put in the work, even though it's not going to be putting out a lot of direct damage. What do you have to say, kiddo? Oh, well, I can't choose what we do right now, because this battle already happened, silly. Remember?
I don't know why
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So anyway, he's just going to go ahead and Electro Web. I click Toxic because, again, he doesn't have a Steel type, so something is going to get Toxic. And so it's pretty safe no matter what he does. And getting the Rotom low, I'm realizing at this point I need Rotom down to, like, I think it was, like, a little below half to eat a Terra Blast. I think it might even be lower, like, needed to be, like, closer to a third, like, between 30-40%, something like that, to not be able to take the Terra Blast. So we need this thing to get as low as possible, and Toxic is great there. At this point, we hit kind of a little stalemate here, right? We're both in on probably our least useful Pokemon, although this does block, again, like, Earthquakes, and it lives a Terra Blast. So at this point, he's just clicking, he's not letting me switch out, basically, is what he's doing here. Anything that comes in taking an Electro Web is going to get slowed down. Empoleon doesn't want to take that. Nothing on my team wants to take that, right? Because Salamence getting slower would be a problem. Empoleon would take way too much damage because it has to beat the Enamorus, and I do not want the HP to be broken on my Terapagos. So I'm just going to sit here until Muck dies. And it appears at this point that's what he's doing with the Rotom, right? Is neither one of us want to give the other opponent the switch advantage here, or the free turn, basically, or take something, right? He doesn't want to take a hit on, get poisoned on something, and I don't want to get burned or Volt Switch. So we're sitting here at a little bit of a stalemate on these defensive pivoty Pokemon. He's trying to think what to do. This is really getting down to it here. Again, like I said, this is a great championship game. Win or lose, it's starting to get to that point where win or lose, you can't really be disappointed because I feel like we both played an amazing game. And it turns out that Muck is going to live on 3 from that Electro Web. So it's really this awkward position where we actually wanted to die there, because now Rotom is in range of the Terra Blast, and I wanted to be able to come in and kill it with Salamence. So living there on Muck, weirdly, benefits my opponent, because I can't come in with Scarf Salamence and kill it and get a Moxie attack boost. So now we're sitting there like, that sucks. I don't want to kill this thing, so I'm not going to Shadow Sneak again. I want this thing to live, but I know it's going to die to the poison. So I knock off just kind of to see what's going to happen. Like, maybe he'll switch out or something. I don't know. But I wanted to come in with Salamence and revenge this thing. So we're kind of in this kind of awkward positioning here where we would rather have our own Pokemon die. So he smartly goes for Will-O-Wisp. See, that was a genius play by my opponent, because now we have the problem where I do kill the Rotom, and I've got a sitting duck of a Muck here. That was a great play by my opponent, because also, again, if I switch something in, nothing else wants to get burned. I mean, I guess I could have brought Empoleon in, but Empoleon would have been so risky to eat like a Volt Switch or an Electro Web, but he was going for the Electro Webs. I guess in theory I could have gotten, because I'm competitive on Empoleon, so I would have gotten a special attack boost, but it just wouldn't have been worth taking the damage. So the Slowking comes back out, which, again, this ends up being a little bit of an issue, because now he's getting HP back on this thing because of the Regenerator, and he's just going to go ahead and bring in his Beartic with the Chilly Reception. This is where it starts to get a little hairy for us, boys. my opponent is bringing himself back in this game. Not that he was out of it, but like he really took a hit when I made that read and hit the Earthquake on the Glow King. That was a massive blow to my opponent. Massive, massive, massive. And he's clawing his way back from that with these really good plays. The Will-O-Wisp there was really good. And then just Chili's receptioning out, being faster than the Muck, and being able to get out before I clicked the knockoff. Also, incredible, planning. A great build by my opponent there to be slower and everything, but still faster than the Muck. That was really good for him. So at this point, I clicked Toxic because I don't want him to click Swords Dance. I could have Shadow Sneak just to get like a little bit of chip off. We see we knocked off his item. It was Heavy Duty Boots, so it doesn't really matter because I'm not very unlikely that I get rocks up at this point. But we're gonna go ahead and click Toxic because I don't want him to get Swords Dance up, and he just goes ahead and Ice Punch. That's fine. So he's gonna kill the Muck, and the Muck finally goes down. Muck put in a ton of work though. Muck did awesome in this championship game. So at this point, I look at my calcs and I realize Salamence actually can't kill this thing in one shot. So we're gonna head and go into Terapagos. This is really the scariest thing. I mean, the Choice Specs and Amorous is also terrifying. Don't get me wrong, especially because we know it's Terra Fairy, so he could do that. And just that really makes Empoleon's job really, really tough. I think it might come down to a roll at that point, or I have to bait him into Earth Power or something. But anyway, so he's going to go ahead and click the Ice Punch, and now we're just praying to the Pokegods, please don't freeze, please don't freeze. If he gets a freeze here, game's over, pretty much. I mean, maybe not, but that would have been massive. So we don't get a freeze, that's amazing. We're able to click the super effective Power Gem. I wonder if my opponent was curious here, because Power Gem actually does the same amount of damage, I believe, as Terra Starstorm would. But here's the Power Gem. Again, I told you at the beginning, I built this set on the Terapagos, actually, to stop the sticky web, right? It would be good, able to check things like super effective hits, like the Bear Tick, for example, but the Power Gem actually over Terra Starstorm was so that we could just obliterate like whatever Masquerade set he was going to bring. I think it even one-shot. I think it put enough special attack in it so that it could beat, so they could knock out the Masquerade even if it was like super Spadef. But anyway, we go ahead and knock that thing out, so that's fantastic. Now my opponent is down left to the Slowking and the Enamorous. So here we go, baby. Down to the wire, man. Can Salamence win us this game? Can Empoleon check the Enamorous? That is gonna be the question here, because this Enamorous is Choice Specs, and again, nothing really wants to eat anything from this Pokemon. Nothing wants to take a hit here. And I start to worry: am I gonna be able to beat the Glow King if Terapagos goes down? I have to hope I can do it with Earthquake and a combination of Earthquake and the fact that Empoleon probably walls it. I mean, there's a chance he has Earthquake, right, on the Slowking, and that would be a problem for Empoleon, but at this point in the game, he hasn't Terastallized yet. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Power Gem, hoping he stays not Terastallized and takes a super effective hit. If he doesn't Terastallize, I do live the Choice Specs, I think. I think I had enough bulk, or maybe it was a roll or something. I think that was the case. I think I stayed in because it would have been a roll if he didn't Terastallize. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, he does go ahead and Terastallize, so it makes it not a roll. I believe. Maybe, no, there's no way this is a roll. He definitely obliterates me here. So he goes ahead and clicks the Moonblast, I believe. If I'm correct about my memory, yes. And this is like one of the most powerful attacks in the game, my friends. Like, that's just going to blow back everything. So now I have no choice. Terry, you did your job. You stopped us from losing to the Bear Tick in the snow. Now I cannot go Salamence, because even though I'm faster, I can't one-shot it. I can't one-shot an Amorous. So I have no choice, and I brought Empoleon for this. Hey, Empoleon won me my first ever draft championship. It was in LET, actually, as well. I love Empoleon. It's one of my favorite Pokemon in draft, dude. It only gets better now that it has, like, Roost and Flip Turn and competitive. And this is one of my favorite Pokemon to have in draft, always. I love Empoleon, dude. So we're going to send out Trident the Empoleon because it's the only play. We can't let Salamence die. We can't. I guess in theory, in retrospect, I could have, because I'm Scarf, I could have given a big hit to it and then seen if Empoleon could win the game from there, but it would have been too hard with the Glow King. It would have been too risky. So I'm going to go ahead and click Surf because I know that I live a hit, right? We know that we live at least one from this Pokemon, and Surf is going to do a lot of damage. I think the Surf actually, yes, we're trying to put it in range of a Salamence attack. That was the goal here. If we can get the Enamorous in range of a Salamence Terra Blast, then game's over pretty much. Or actually an Earthquake especially. So if we can get it in range of Terra Blast, and this is still alive, that's great, but ultimately getting it in range of Earthquake would be more important. My opponent realized this, and by the way, I know this because we chatted about the game after the fact. So he's going to go into his Slowking here because he doesn't want to take a hit. He doesn't want to take a hit on an Amorous, and to him, the Choice Specs Earth Power also looks fantastic, right? It's going to two-shot Salamence. It's going to, from his mind, it's going to Oko and Empoleon. He doesn't know. He doesn't know about the Shuka Berry. Anyway, so We go ahead and click Surf. We get a little bit of good chip on this. Again, I can't risk going back into Salamence. I'm going to go ahead and click Surf again, hoping he just chilies back to the Enamorus. Because honestly, chilling back is a great play. Yep. So, or it seems like the right play if my opponent doesn't know that I have the Shukaberry. By the way, only the snow failed. He's still able to get the chili out. So he chilies out back to the Enamorus. Okay, so at this point, I knew... I basically figured he was going to do that, get a little extra chip on the Slowking, because he wants Slowking to be healthy too, right? He gets it with Regenerator. Now, here's the key. He does not know that I'm Shukaberry. So I'm going to go ahead and click Surf, I believe, to get as much damage as possible on this thing so that it's in range of Salamence's Earthquake. I believe if it takes a Surf, it's in range of the Earthquake. He's going to click the Earth Power. We're going to reveal the Shukaberry, which is our massive, like, there's our ace in the pocket. Let's go! And it turns out we actually would have lived a Choice Specs in Earth Power anyway. You see that damage? That's actually crazy. We get a crit there, and now Enamorus is 100% in range of Earthquake. So that the game is over now. The game is 100% over now. Now, I will say that is one of the few benefits of doing this in retrospect, doing this as a post-com. We both looked at the calcs, and Enamorus would have been in range of the Earthquake from Salamence, regardless of the crit. The crit sealed the deal. Game is over. But if we didn't crit, it still was in range of the Earthquake. So, either way, you know, this was an incredible game. Incredible game. I think both of us played so well. At this point, we're not worried about the Earthquake killing the Enamorus. We know that we're faster. We know that's going to kill. He can't get anything back. We're locking into Earthquake because it hits both Pokemon. Ideally, it OHKOs the Slowking. I believe I was starting to run calcs here, wondering if we one-shot, because he could potentially do a lot of damage with Sludge Bomb. But at this point, again, from my perspective, he would have to be very invested in the special attack to knock out the Salamence in one hit. Also, we get an attack first, so he has to live the Earthquake, right? So I guess there's a chance he's Shukaberry. There's a chance that, obviously, kind of, I've already revealed what happened, but we're going to go ahead and get the Earthquake off to kill the Enamorus. He didn't want to switch in on the Earthquake either, so that's where I think the game was over, actually. Because he either has to stay in and die to the Earthquake, giving me an attack boost, which then, unless he's like Shuka or something, he does not live. Even with Shuka, I wonder if he would live this hit, the Earthquake from a +1 Earthquake from Salamence. Especially when he's already not at full HP. But anyway, the point there was it was either that or he has to switch in on 2 Earthquake. He has to take 2 Earthquakes on Slowking, which is even worse. So his only play there was to eat it. But even then, it doesn't matter because here we go. Salamence clean it up with an Earthquake. Let's go! So we are the Season 14 LET champions, baby! For Ultra Ball. So now we're moving up to the top big dog division. We'll see how we do next season there. Either way, you'd love to see it. The TERA Fairy Salamence comes through at the end there, and that was a fantastic way to win that game. We're so happy about that. Salamence getting 3 kills. I think Muck got a couple kills there. That was awesome. Terapagos got a kill. The horse didn't, but it put in a little bit of work. That's okay. The horse did nothing in the regular season anyway. We had a couple of nice showings in the playoffs with the horse, but it threatened him, though. It's one of those things where it threatened a lot of prep, right? So, great season. I'm really going to miss playing with this team, man. I love this team. The TERA Salamence was so fun. Having TERA Scyther again was so fun. I'm trying to join like a low tier TERA Captain League again, so I can play with the Scyther again. TERA Scyther. I love TERA Scyther. But anyway, I'm going to miss this team. This was such a fun team to play with. My boy Empoleon. I also drafted Muckalola a lot. I like that Pokemon so much. I'm going to miss Iron Hands. I'm going to miss all the team. This is a great team. It's so much fun to play with. We'll see you guys in the next LET season. Congrats. Good game to my opponent. We'll see him again next season. We're both getting promoted because he was the best team in the regular season. And this is the last promotion to get. We're up in with the big dogs, man. So anyway, good game to my opponent, and we're the champs yet again. Your boy did it again. Your boy did it again. Hey, to win big games, you got to make big boy plays. You want to win big boy games, you got to make big boy plays. Let's go.